Lovely. I have nothing. All right, let's wait for that to kick in. Hello, folks. Just me. Muted before it started. Ha. How's that for catching it? I guess I'm on my own, which is normal because, yeah, anything I plan to do never really seems to turn out lately. So this is just me until people show up, and then maybe I can weasel some people onto my stream to help keep the conversation going. Hi, Alan. How you doing? I'm on my lonesome right now. I kind of like last minute just checked my Discord, so I don't know if Functional's going to join me, but uh, he's still welcome to join me. I was like clown in office. You know what? I don't even need articles at this point. We could just make fun of ourselves, and it would be an entertaining conversation. I think at this point. So how are you doing? Are you taking? You're taking it easy. Avoiding the dirty places that are in Toronto, which is like everywhere. So I would imagine. Yeah, you know, really over a squash. Hey, duck dog. I'm not surprised. Like, it's just the amount of chaos that people are getting into is unreal. And I'm just like, you know what? You guys should have been taking notes from us introverts ages ago. You just go out when you need to. And then when you're done, you go home and you stay at home. Stops plagues everywhere. And soap, soap, the almighty soap. Oh, I had a list that I found on which really isn't going to impress you at all, Elwin, but I'm going to share it with you if I can find it. I might have to scroll down a little bit. I didn't share it. I should have shared it, but it was all the things that you're not supposed to mix your cleaning chemicals with, like pneumonia and bleach and rubbing alcohol and bleach and vinegar and bleach and a whole assortment of things that they're worried that people are going to start mixing because, people freak out when they're worried about stuff. And that's what they do. They make deadly chemicals. That, and I have thought this guy was like teaching people how to do it, like there are some people who are like, maybe you shouldn't do this because it creates this hazardous substance. And then they put it out there just because they know people are now going to go experiment because humans are dumb like that. See if I can find that thing. I doubt it. That's how it goes on Twitter. You see something funny and then you blink and it's gone. It's gone. Maybe it's on my profile sometimes. Nope. I had a nice video that I could share though. It was cute. Hi Toss, how's it going? Hey Jack, how you doing? Yeah, I'll share a little video. I'm not going to share sound or anything, but something to cheer you up. I don't need that. Let's go to my Twitter. There we go. I'll start it at the beginning. Oh, let's mute that. Yeah, I can't claim this stuff because it's not mine. This, kids, is what we used to do to have fun back in the day. If you were lucky enough to have a couple trees nearby and you raked them, you jump into them like this. Skateboards, or with your bike or scooters or just yourself or a whole number of things that you would just slam into. For the record, you didn't come out unharmed. There was usually at least a branch or two in this mess of junk, but yeah, it was cute. Cute times. Butterfly poppers! Yeah, that's awesome. Dogs make my day. So how's life treating you guys on your neck of the woods? Like we've had squash fights. What's the most interesting duke outs you guys have seen yet at your local grocery stores? For us, we were okay. I mean, there were people, passing along toilet paper if they saw somebody else needed it. I don't doubt there's been some fights in my town. Like we're not better than anybody else in terms of that. But I heard there was up in Edmonton, one of their what was it? Food banks got broken into and robbed. It was like, well, desperate times, I guess, but that's really sad that you have to be so desperate to take away from other people who are also desperate. But calm down, folks. Most of what you should be desperate about is like, the economy is going to be shit. So, tighten up your belts, and you'd be surprised at how many vegetables you can regrow. That was another one I think I shared on my Facebook that I actually could find, I think. Aha. There it is. It looks kind of naughty, though. Naughty with the vegetables. There we go. I have no idea how truthful this is. This could be one of those videos where they're like, see, we did this, and it's all fake. But, like, some of them I know you can do. Like, the one with the garlic, I've seen this one done. Like, I know people who do this. So, honestly, one bulb is actually worth more to you if you do this. This one I don't know about because these plants come from certain places. Walnuts take a lot of moisture. I can't do this in my province. This one I could do. This one I could probably do, but yet again, some of these vegetables take a lot longer than what they're implying. There you go, guys. In case of being completely screwed in the middle of nowhere, you can grow some stuff. I think it would be amazing if I grew corn off the side of my balcony. Do you think my neighbors would complain? They're hoarding cat litter. I'm not surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be a thing. It's a little bit silly, but things that you wouldn't think about is toilet paper for your cat, right? Yeah, that's another one that I would imagine is just fleeing off the shelves would be baby diapers. Like if you have a young child or something, baby formula, baby food. But guys, baby food is surprisingly easy to make. It really is. A food processor is your friend. Um, your kid at that point can eat pretty much almost everything you can. I mean, some stuff you might have to boil, but it is possible. It's not like we haven't lived for several millions of years as a species. We can do this. It might mean a little bit more work putting into things, but considering we're not all going to work at this point because that's where we're at. Well, that's good. It's good. I mean, you might want to stock up on bread. There's a lot of recipes that you can use that, easy make bread. It might not be as fluffy as the stuff you get at work, but yeah, I don't know, Check. I always feel like there's more to our past than we know because it's buried in dirt or it's under the sea, you know? Like I always find like every time we think we know where we start, like the bar gets changed because we learn a little bit more. If I know anything about our species, it's probably that we have done okay in the past. It's just we're eternally based on our own stupidity to tank ourselves. It's like, we finally made it up the hill and now we're just tripping each other just to see how fast we fall down it. Hi, Scotty. At least that's how I view our species at this point. Uh, Like, look at the head of our Monkey Mountain. The head of our Monkey Mountain is playing Drama King, while all our every country right now is like, okay, we got to figure this out. We got to lock it down. We're just going to slow it down. The pandemic is here. It is what it is. We don't know how bad it's going to be. We've got predictions all over the place. So our numbers are like, oh, let's go this like the highest worst number. Oh, let's go with the highest best number, you know, or like go somewhere in between. And our governments are trying to set us up so it's probably closer to something in between. So, just take care of yourself and just remember we're not a dumb species. Don't do like the monkeys did in Thailand. Like, don't form mobs and start mobbing each other. Just calm down. Relax. Bring on Thanos. You're going to have to be one of those people, Elwyn, that saves newspapers, which if you're in Toronto, I'm sure you can find newspapers everywhere. But like, yeah, you're going to have to save up on the newspapers, which means like every time your cat poops, you're like, well, at least I know about it. It's what they used to do. It was just, you'd empty out your cat tray and new papers. It smells bad because there's nothing to catch the urine stink, but this is such a pleasant conversation. Urine stink. Yeah, we're going to be the cause of most of our own damage throughout this thing. And that's basically what I'm watching my government do. But here's the thing, like Quebec, the Quebec provincial leaders shutting things down, my provincial leaders shutting things down. It might just end up being that our provincial leaders have to realize that we're being run by a clown and they're just going to have to do the work themselves because he's playing drama leader, Vaughn principal of drama, train the cat to go outside. We'll never see him come back, though, Scotty. Some stupid, desperate person will be like, well, we need to eat something. Better to eat theirs before we ate ours. We're not that bad yet, guys. We aren't in the same situation as Venezuela. And just so you know, Canada is rich in resources. I'm just saying we do have enough of a population of wildlife to sustain ourselves if we had to. I'm not saying that I would be happy about shooting a Bambi, but if I had to shoot a Bambi, I would shoot a Bambi. I don't know if anybody wants to join me. I'm like just sitting here by myself trying to keep things. Yeah, there are a few pricey pet stores. Like, yeah, PetSmarts, all those places, they'll jack it up and they'll do it on purpose. But I mean, you might have to make do with newspapers. Like I keep bringing them up, but worst case scenario, you could like washable cloths. I mean, that's nasty, but like if you had to. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we do that's kind of, we could do better for a lot of the ways we go about things, but well, it is a solo stream because like I couldn't find anyone last minute to join me, so I'm kind of just winging it. Hi James, how you doing? I was just like, I don't really know what to talk about other than that Canada's in lockdown. It took our prime minister half an hour to leave his house to go hold a meeting today, which was not surprising because, I suspect he probably isn't staying there. I think that's his fake house. And he probably goes in through the back door, because he's a clown like that. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him for other reasons. For security reasons, it wouldn't surprise me if he had a fake out house, like where everyone goes to do their meetings with him, but he doesn't actually live there. Like hell he doesn't. And he charges us for it too, so. I don't either. I've thought about it, like just going around, walking around Fish Creek Park or something with a phone and doing like a blog like that. Like I probably could. It's a beautiful park. It's just that I have to speak my thoughts out loud in public and people are weird. like I think a lot of people in my province feel a lot of what I feel, like maybe in different ways, different perspectives on it, but I'm pretty sure we all have similar views on what's going on. Um, but at the same time, you don't want to announce yourself because there's still people here who will fuck you up financially. I don't know that they both did, Elwin. Like I heard he was in isolation, but I believe that he hadn't taken the test yet. Like he spent all of yesterday talking about how he didn't need to take it yet because he hadn't shown signs. So he's on 2 week isolation quarantine, not quarantine, but isolation. And then his wife is quarantined. So um, he still hasn't taken that test yet. Unless that came out, like I can check again, but like this is the guy who doesn't give any answers to anything other than, "Oh, well, we've been working on it for days. Oh, yeah, we've been working on yeah, yeah." They're still letting people in. Like I said, between the provincial leaders, they seem to be the ones who have to enact everything because he's not going to do anything yet. But today he did announce the borders closing. So there's that. Like we're basically the only people going across the border between us and the US are people taking goods and services across, which is fine. Like I think that's acceptable. Like this is levels where we can keep track of who's coming in and out and screen and things like that without stopping our businesses because most of our produce comes to and from the US. We can't really close that border. Like we can slow it down and make it manageable. Um, but it's taken him what, like a month past the time? We already have it. Well, it's too late. At this point it's too late. Like I mean there's so many places where you can see that they haven't been doing checks where they should have been done. And they're going to hit the major cities. Like we're already like I think most Albertans right now have this super special laugh where it's just like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean, Ellen? Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Do you want to join Czech? I don't know if I'm friends with you on Discord, but um, um do 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 do. Well, that's what I heard. Like, Blind Girl was following it a lot last night. Like, the last couple days because like I guess it was like what 2 days ago you had like 100 people infected and then yesterday it was like 400 and like not last night like it's gonna go up so quickly from there like and honestly those are just the cases that they've caught. There's probably tons of people who already have it who haven't gone in, because some people might feel it like it's a cold and they're like, well, I don't want to bug up the system. Not everyone's going to get it and process it like the deadly thing that it is. Like some people are going to catch it, it's going to roll through them like a cold and pass along, and it's just their neighbors that are really having to worry about it. You know, yeah, no, that's what I've heard so far about him, James. Yeah, he doesn't have it yet, but like we wouldn't even know because the guy's refusing to get a test done until he shows signs of it. I don't doubt he probably does have something, because he does look a little bit worn down, and I mean that could just be like he's under a lot of pressure. I wouldn't be like my joke about him sitting at home playing daddy dating sims is no joke. He's probably sitting there like, am I fucked? Because he could be, you know But at the same time, I don't know. With him, he could be absolutely fine, and he's just playing it up for yucks. But on the other hand, I really don't want Christia Freeland to take over because she's scary in a different way. She's more wishy washy though. Like I think she'd be more of a pushover. Um, yeah. Well, there's that. He does have that. Absolutely, he does. um, yeah, you might have to message me on Discord. I'm having issues with my Discord just sucks. It honestly just sucks. Every time I use it, it's like, oh, let's just show you how I can work less good for you. Like it's messed with my names list, and I've tried refreshing it, and it still hasn't fixed. So I'm like, damn you, technology. Oh yeah, that was another thing I had an idea for, Elwyn, and I think Canada and Canadians need to get on this thing. So somebody pointed out that back in the day when you ran out of toilet paper, you would just use like newspaper. Coming back up with the newspaper, and I was like, I'm surprised somebody hasn't done that. Go through the last like 6 years of our election cycle and cut out every single picture of Justin Trudeau's face. Cut it so that it fits a roll of toilet paper. Make a roll of toilet paper out of Justin Trudeau's face and just sell it on eBay. I could definitely sell it for a hell of a lot more than $100, I guarantee you. And I'm just fulfilling a prophecy because he's the guy who likes to be in brown face multiple times. This way he can always be in brown face multiple times in different shades and any kind of shade you can actually come up with. Random! How you doing, Random? Discord works. It's just I'm not sure. It's not showing up my friends list. Well, it's got my friends list, but it's not showing up the lists of people in the Discords that I'm in. So if you're in a Discord, I have no idea. But you can click on my name and just say hey, and I can send you a link. Oh snap! You better start looking up what leaves are good to use in winter. Well, no, I mean it's almost spring. At least we are almost in spring. I mean, just watch out for anything really brightly colored. I hear that's really not good to use. And the hose works. You can always use a hose. Call that'll that insult has new names again. We're all just going to be a bunch of hosers, folks. Well, that's what I mean. That is a direct message. If you click on somebody's name, it's going to ask for a message, like to write, direct message. Well, they're supposed to be restocking. They're basically most places that I know. They're trying to get stuff in as much as they can. It's just that everyone's buying them out before like they can stock shelves. Like the Costco near me, they've been filling their toilet paper and paper aisle every day. Like it is completely full. They do a second fill like when they get their second shipment in. It's just the amount of time it's taking. Like it's people are just buying it faster than they're putting it on the shelves. And not everybody gets the shipments. Like, Costco, I think, gets them multiple times a day. A lot of places can only get shipments at certain times. So they're just being overwhelmed by people who are being ridiculous. Go out, buy yourself what you need for this month and maybe next month. Like, one of those big bags of toilet paper should last a family for a good 2 months. You know, buying 5 of them is stupid unless you're like eating like if they were all hoarding beans at the same time, I'd understand it better, but they weren't. You know, now people are going back for the food and it's just like at best I think the most people are going to I think people are going to drive themselves nuts with boredom because people aren't used to being introverted. They're not used to living like they're introverted. They're not used to staying at home and holding conversations with people for longer than 5 minutes and actually sitting down and playing games or, you know, people aren't used to how do you keep yourself busy when you're stuck inside and you're used to going out and especially people who work all the time. Like if you're the type of person who's working 40 hours or more a week and now you have to be at home for the whole week and now you have to spend time with your family and we all love each other, but let's be real, like we're not used to being in each other's faces for 24 hours. So what I'm really predicting is more a hell of a lot of cabin fever from everybody. And then they go out to go shopping and it's just like, well, that's just basically it. Like you know, the soap hoarding is stupid too because like yet again, how much are you needing? Yes, you probably should be using a little bit more during the cold seasons. You know, anytime where there's a chance of you catching something, yeah, you're going to use a little bit more soap, but unless you're France who has like low sales, you know, don't overdo it. You're actually making it worse. The hand sanitizer people drive me nuts because the thing I know about hand sanitizer is you end up drying your skin out so much that it absorbs everything else. So you're stuck in a loop of like mass using of it. It's just wash your hands, let them dry, use a little bit of moisturizer to keep them nice and clean, and don't touch anything after you do that. Make sure that dries too, and you're good. And then if you're in the middle of nowhere, then okay, yeah, use the hand sanitizer, sure. Hand wipes, sure. Right? Right? That's just it. Like I feel like that's going to be the next thing that people are going to legit freak out about. And this is the thing, people don't have a patience for doing quiet games as much as we used to be. Like we're so used to loud boom, like let's go watch flashy movies, let's go play, you know. And I mean, most people have that at home. Like most people have something to do at home, but like not everybody really has that. A lot of people work more than they spend time doing that kind of thing. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks. I have been thinking though that a service that I should start really investing back into is babysitting for people. You know, I think I'd have to renew my license for that, just because so many people are probably like, "Fuck, I need to get away from my kids," or the people who desperately do need to get to work. You know, but who knows how that's gonna go? Oh, I got messages. Oh, there we go. All right, let me send a link. Maybe Jack can join us. He might not be able to. Sometimes he does his turn to cook. Ah, he's cooking. You better be making good food, Jack. I know you're watching. There, I sent you a link. Check, so you've got one. Change half hour rates. No, I stand by what I said though, Elwin. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. We're gonna go through like all the newspapers for the last 6 years, and anywhere that there's a good shot of Justin Trudeau's face, we're gonna cut it off in the right, you know, corner shaped size piece of Justin Trudeau's face, and we're gonna make a special roll of toilet paper, and then we'll sell it for many monies on eBay. Yeah, yeah, you know it'll work. I'm sure we could push that one. Um, oh, geez. There's no such thing as. Well, you know what I mean? Like memeable shots. Like the best meme shots of him are what I want for this TP. You know, like the goofiest, derpiest faces. Right? This is the best idea. I'm surprised there isn't one out there. There probably is, like a better quality actual news, like toilet paper version of it. But I just figure with the newspaper effect, it just makes it more like realistic, more like it's something that he would want us to do. Because then we're recycling, and it makes you feel more like we're in the communist country that he wants us to be in, and it's just perfect. It just fits so many categories of what we need. And the sarcasm can be smelt by everybody worldwide. Oh, there it is. Found it. Woo! All right, this was what I was going to share. Ha! Right, so bleach and vinegar mixture produces chlorine gas, which can cause coughing, breathing problems, burning, and watery eyes. Don't do this, folks. Bleach and ammonia. Bleach and ammonia produces a toxic gas called chloramine. It causes shortness of breath and chest pain. Bleach and rubbing alcohol. Bleach and rubbing alcohol makes chloroform, which is highly toxic. Don't knock out people, folks. Please don't knock people out, folks. Hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. This combination makes. I am not pronouncing this word, but it sounds toxic, and it's acid. So let's just shorten it to acid, which can be highly corrosive. Let's not do that one either. Yeah. Like I said, when they post stuff like this, like I know it's within good intentions of not teaching people not to do things, but the chloroform one makes me question that. Taking notes? No, I would never take notes. I don't know what you're talking about, random. All right, I think I know what I'll do. Um, oh, weird. I hate looking for things on lists because I will totally go by them over and over again, like a doof. Um, Weird. Am I not friends with you, random? I thought I was friends with you. Did you unfriend me for some reason? Oh, there you are. I knew I was friends with you. It's like, okay, I'm going to send you a link. All right, linked. Oh, you were taking Nazis. Faulty vent system, yeah. Yeah, I could see that happening. Oh, that'd be funny. You all come out like super sleepy and dopey and like, yeah. And the hangovers afterwards were probably not, were probably interesting too. All right. So what else is going on in Canada? I don't really know. Stay home challenge. I don't think that's a challenge though. Most people don't find that to be a challenge. I'm just looking at the trending list on here, folks, and it's meme central. Oh, I guess the part where people realize that not going to work means they can't pay rent is kicked in. Oh, I'm trying really hard not to be vindictive. It's really hard to be a good person in this day and age. You know, it never used to be. Oh, I got a random. All right.
Hello? Hello?
Hello. You're welcome. Hello. You're still welcome, check. I don't know. I sent him a link, but
You sent who the what?
check your logic. Wanted to.
Don't tell me to check my logic.
Yay! Okay, well, I got another person to help me talk because that's the thing. I'm like, I could either go in circles and keep making jokes about my prime minister, which is easy enough to do, and honestly, I could always ask for help.
This far into the winter, do you really want to? Is there really any low-hanging fruit left?
If they are, it's probably nuts.
So that's why Trudeau's still around. Got it.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. The theories going around that guy though are just fantastic. Like some of the like I said, there was one of the pictures that they posted the other day, and it's him in his office, and it looks like they took a cutout of a picture of his dad. Like his dad's in the same office in the same position with the same phone cord, and it was just like, did he just redesign his office just to make a picture like that? And then I was like, it's my prime minister. Of course he did. That's what he spends our money on. At least when your guy goes to do stuff, he goes and plays golf, you know?
All presidents play golf. I don't understand why that is. I would make that a point. If I went to run for president, I will not play golf for my entire 4 years. Although apparently golf courses are the only thing that are still open. I tried to go to the library today. They closed that down.
Yeah, I could see that one being down.
Everything I wanted to do for the next 2 months has been shut down.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I'd been making plans to start going to a pool, and I'm like, well, that's done. That's over because.
And I just don't see this being that big of a threat. More to the point, I don't see if you want to panic over this, then you can stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you forbidding the rest of us? We get sick, it's our own damn fault.
Well, that's pretty much it. Like my understanding is, they're trying to slow down the spread of it so that the system can handle the people who are sick now. So that way, you know, when because people are going to continue to get sick. Like this is out in the world now. So like, who knows if it's going to go through cycles like flu seasons go through cycles, you know? We haven't seen it yet. So I get that they want to slow down the trickle, but like, I think the manner in which they're going about it seems a little bit silly. And it's forcing a like we are absolutely in another recession. Like my province already was kind of in another recession, you know, but now
Yes.
we've dealt like we've gone from like what could have been a little recession into, oh well, let's just go right down to the deep end.
And that's another thing is the number of people that we're saving, assuming that we're actually saving anyone, because it doesn't seem to me that this is really helping. But you know, the economic damage that we're doing, and the fact that people are not doing anything. You know, what's the point of staying alive if you can't do anything? If you're going to be afraid of everything.
Well, let's be real. Like here's a thing that I thought up last night that was really simple, and it was like, okay, so what categories of people are the most affected by this? The elderly and people with respiratory problems. You know what would have made this an easy solution? Is if they need to stay quarantined, like if those are the people who should stay isolated during this season while people like run it through their systems and get safe, there are systems in place where you could do delivery to them, you know, for food and things that they need. They would never have to leave their house longer than like opening the door and retrieving it. for elderly people or something like where mobility is an issue, and this is, it would keep them in a safe location away from everything. Instead of blocking everybody else, you would contain the one, because nobody wants to see a bunch of their grandparents die. Like, I mean, I'm like that with my parents. They're at the age group where if I thought I had a cold, period, let alone this thing, I wouldn't go hang out with them. You know, would
Yes.
wouldn't something like that make a lot more sense than just what we're doing? I
Yes.
mean, and that's just one solution. Like, there's probably many ways that you can implement that would be fair for a lot more other situations. I'm just saying, like, we have grocery stores that do that.
All I have to say is that the reaction to this virus is turning me into a Nietzschean. What does what actually it's
Jen.
Hi,
a
Chick.
cynical Nietzschean. The motto of which is, "What does not kill you should have tried harder."
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like that with human nature. Like I said, like most civilizations in the past, like I figure, like if anything did them in, it was us, because we can clearly see that this is people are running around and being stupid, you know. I don't think there's a single person in a single country right now who isn't looking around and going like, when did we all become a bunch of morons?
Good question.
And yes, I'm not taking it lightly. Like, don't get me wrong. I am saying, like, yeah, you should, if you are in the category where it is deadly to you, and I've seen the videos, I'm afraid of it. Like, I understand being afraid of it. Like, the way people die from it is terrifying. It is. But like shutting the door on it, on everything, it's not going to solve the problem. It's still going to go through everything. If you have it, you already have it. It's been since December.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying, like, do you know how many people buy from China?
Far too many.
I was gonna say hundreds of millions of people.
Right. And since December, do you know how many people have been buying from China?
The answer is
Billions and
yes.
billions and
Right?
yes.
And I get that's not the only way that it's being passed. Obviously, it's going to be from tourists and things like that. Well, you know what? The minute somebody went through an airport, it got everywhere.
Oh,
Just
Jesus.
take a look at the end of the the remake of Planet of the Apes.
There's a remake.
You didn't see that? No, I think I just
No.
spoiled it for you then.
Well, you just said look at the ending. I didn't get context. Plus, I don't mind spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to spoil it for everyone then, because they remade Planet of the Apes.
Plus, I'm not going to see it soon anyway, most likely.
But it was
Sorry,
the movie itself
chat.
was really what? Chat's not moving for me. Are they saying stuff?
No.
Okay. Well, start saying stuff, chat. We're here for you. Got to give us some feedback, otherwise we'll just keep yammering. But no,
I wasn't even looking at chat.
the whole thing with the movie, it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't particularly great until the very end, when you realize, oh shit, that's what's going to happen to the world. And basically, what makes the apes smart will kill humans, and someone purposely releases it a pilot gets infected with it, and then the very end of the movie shows him going to the next stop, and then you see lines from that going to other stops, and then you just see how the virus is spreading.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, I thought my audio went mute for a second.
Oh, you're
I
fine.
didn't hear, I thought Random was still talking.
He
and
was.
I
Am I
didn't
not?
hear Jen say anything. Oh.
Stuff.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm yet again, I'm not trying to be a doom slayer either. Like, I don't think this thing is going to kill everybody off. Like, I think the worst numbers I've seen is 500,000 people. We have how many billions of people on the planet? And yes, that's still
Almost
sad. I don't,
8.
like I don't want to see a bunch of people's grandparents die. No, and the way that my country seems to be directing this shit is fucked. Like it's fucked up. Like because that's what it looks like. I think that's what's making people more mad than anything else. Is it looks like they're actually directing it towards people. You know, but most of the people that I know in my province who are old, they've been looking at our government like they've been portrayed since the election. So like they haven't been prepared for this kind of stupidity in the first place. You know, I think that's where a lot of people in Canada, at least, are pissed because the way it's been handled, the way it looks like it's been directed, and we're just like, really? When you have whole homes of elderly people that are now at risk, then yes, I understand being upset. That's a different situation. That's not the general public going out to a grocery store to get like their one roll of toilet paper that they need, or whatever. Sleeve. I mean sleeve.
No, I think we should be selling it by the roll.
Some
What?
people are.
And you can only buy a new roll if you bring the core back and say, here, I've used up the other roll.
Sell it back. Be like, I don't know what you would recycle it for, but I'm sure somebody will figure something out.
Well, it's cardboard, so.
Future toilet paper. They can recycle
No,
it.
the last time I went, yeah, the toilet paper was gone. A lot of the cleaning supplies was gone. There's a whole section's gone, and I just, what was in that section again? And I just, it's stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. Yeah. And I still have this prediction that like a couple weeks from now people will forget about it. Like it'll still be going around, but people will forget about it because we as a species seem to thrive on drama and blowing things out of proportion and then actually making it work because we have to blow it out of proportion.
You know what people won't forget though?
What?
Trump called the coronavirus a hoax. People are not going to forget that.
Yeah, I just saw something else from CNN CNN person who only quoted half of what Trump said, and everyone
On that exact speech?
No, it was a different speech. It was basically what he was saying is that we'll try to help governors get the resources that they have, but they're going to, for the most part, they're going to be getting their stuff on their own. And he only had the part that says, governors, you're going to have to get this stuff on your own. And it makes it sound like he's being a dick to all the governors of the states. No, yeah. Well, here, let me pull it up.
The clip or?
Well, what he said. Oh, well,
I just asked because I hope the stream doesn't get copyright struck.
Why would it get copyright struck?
Because you're showing a clip, and
I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to read it.
Oh.
And Twitter is. I don't think you can really copy, or you can't legitimately copyright claim something on Twitter.
Right.
Where's this douchebag?
You're fine. I have no one watching me other than people who know me, so we're fine. I'm just gonna get my phone just to see who was phoning me. 'Cause you never know.
Speaking of Twitter, already Alyssa Milano and Amy Siskin have said that, or they claimed that Trump said it was a hoax.
Yeah.
What was the full context of that again?
He said that essentially, they keep all these news sources keep coming up with hoaxes, and that's I don't even remember the whole quote, but basically he was saying that their reporting on what he was doing is a hoax. He wasn't calling the virus itself
Makes
a
a lot more
hoax.
sense.
I could try to figure that out too. I hate Twitter. Okay, so this was from Oliver Darcy. He says, Trump to governors, respirators, ventilators, all of the equipment, try getting it yourselves. The full quote was, respirators, ventilators, all the equipment, try getting it yourselves. We will be backing you, but try getting it yourselves. Point of sales, much better. Much more direct if you can get it yourselves. So in other words, if you can get it, you'll get it quicker than trying to go through the federal government, who has another layer of bureaucracy over it. But the way it was cut, it sounds like, he's trying to make it sound like Trump said, you're all on your own.
Oh, did check this? Yeah, he dropped out.
He checked out?
Yeah, it looks like he checked out. That's okay. I'm back though. Yeah, I just had to check that because my mom was talking about me going to see a doctor, an eye appointment for this week, and so she's like, "Oh, you gotta go tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." That's what I want to do. Go someplace where somebody's gonna poke at my eyes.
For free.
There we go. Oh, Elwyn's back. Yay, Elwyn's back. Oh, check's back. Okay.
Elowen's back, and now I'm back. Hi, Elowen.
Alrighty. Well, that was awkward silence on my part, and I'm sorry. I was just like, run to get my phone, because if I don't, my mom will nag me and 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 nag me, and it's like, you could just text me once.
Wait, was it silent from both of you?
No.
No.
So Random American was still talking.
Wow.
I-
In Toronto, all doctor appointments have been canceled. I'm surprised my
Oh,
mom's even
God.
making one, but yeah, nothing like that here.
Well, I thought universal healthcare was the solution to the coronavirus. That's what woke Twitter's been saying.
It could be like they could be meaning like I don't know, like, because what I mean, they do want to limit the amount of people going in, because like if they have to direct the doctors towards helping people with this, then I don't know. And I mean, if you're not a professional in that field, like, there's, I don't know what to say. I mean, like, this is an optometrist though, so it's
Thank
not
you for
like
saying the profession.
just saying, like, it's not like the optometrist is going to go out and save people from coronavirus. But I am surprised they're still doing it, because they do handle, like, they have to work with your eyes. So, I mean,
Don't they wear gloves though?
well, they do. And I mean, like, they wash their hands. Like, they know what can go from one person's eye to, like, they're still doctors at the end of the day.
Hopefully.
So how have you guys been doing with the whole not touching your face or your eyes or your mouth?
I have failed every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm only failing because I keep touching my eyelashes.
For me, it's my glasses. It's just I always end up touching the bridge of my nose, at least a little bit to push them up.
Yeah, I failed at that too. Because the thing is, I don't even know. It's just I don't know what to call it. Not a reflex, not a force of habit, but it's an instinct for me to poke at my eyelashes, and I only stop once
Nervous
it hurts.
habit.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have that, like people who end up playing with their hair, or, yeah, I totally get that. And everybody has one. Like everybody does something where they're like playing with something, and it's just you don't know why you do it. You just do it, and sometimes it's just I don't know. Maybe it just felt nice at the time. Sometimes I'm scratching my head because it feels good.
Hey, now don't be selfish. Let other people scratch your head.
Especially Joe Biden.
No.
No. then you'll get all the wrong kind of viruses.
I love how we're both like, no.
Why is the plural for virus viruses and not viri?
Because that would sound silly.
Well, what about trying to think of a word.
You're trying to put logic to the English language.
Well,
it's like when you're talking about moose, you could either be talking about a moose or you could be talking about many moose, but they're always moose.
So moose
They're
is
always
an uncountable noun.
There are no moosin, only moose.
I moosin say moosin.
I thought
well,
most,
you could say it, but
moose was meese.
No. Nope.
Well, what's the plural for booth?
Booths?
Couch.
Nah, it's beef.
Hairbrushes are for good, for all the good scratches. Well, sometimes I do that too. You know, hairbrushes are good for scratches.
The English language needs to check its logic.
No.
You know, sometimes I think there should be scratching posts for humans, and if I invented one, I guarantee you I could sell them to people. You know, like little things that you could put on the wall that you could just use as a back scratch that you could just rub in onto.
I would think that those exist already.
You would think. Just make them look like cat posts, you know, just that way people aren't like, oh, is that what you do with your free time?
I like how Elowen actually answered. Booths.
Well, if that bothers you.
Ah! So what have you guys been up to?
Other than being incredibly pissed at the world at large?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much.
I mean, when on trending, you have a stay-at-home challenge. And like I said, as an introvert, you're just looking at it like, really? Are you really that sad?
Well, that's how I felt like when I saw that wash your hands was a quote-unquote challenge. Or it's not even a challenge. No one's calling it that. It's just a reminder. And I'm thinking, why do you guys need a reminder? I do it like 50 times a day, 60 times a day.
People are still special. That's all there is to it. There's just some people out there who are dirty and special. I mean, I've known the odd person who would deliberately not wash their hands. Like they just felt like they didn't need to, or like they weren't dirty when they were going, and it was just like, listen, everybody is dirty when they're going. There's no such thing as somebody who's not dirty when they are going. So wash your hands.
And now they show all the hand soap from the stores.
Yep.
Makes me a miserable. Check your logic.
I'm with Elwin on this one.
What? Booths?
No.
Oh, I'm about to go to Liam Neeson on the soap hoarders.
Fortunately,
Sorry,
I
just popped up
had
for me.
plenty of soap ahead of time, so that's not my issue. I'm worried about the toilet paper a little bit because I am running low and just in time for everyone to go nuts.
Well, it was horrible timing for me because usually I have extra, and the one time I don't have extra hand soap, everybody already takes it.
I'd be lying if I wasn't trying to think of a pun right now.
Well, just say the pun. We appreciate puns here.
Elwin's gonna go all Liam Neeson.
Lying. Never mind.
Spying.
Lying. What was old time soap made out of?
Fat.
Lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no more chemistry jokes.
I'm not good at chemistry.
Yep.
Sorry.
There was this thing that was always interesting about one of the places that I worked, because Safeway used to hoard. So because they cook so many chickens, there's always a grease trap. Anywhere where there's cooked chickens, there's a grease trap. Because chickens sweat so much fat that it just runs off of them. That fat is collected because it solidifies, and then they use it to make soap. So any of the hard soaps that you get from like a grocery chain that's like colored, usually they're scented, they're a clear color. Those are made from chicken fat. You're welcome.
That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it. It works.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that unless you're vegan.
Unless you're vegan. True.
The solution to that is not be vegan.
It was just one of those things where I would tell people that, and they would look from like the chicken to like the bar of soap, and the connection just, they couldn't make that connection. It was just like, science is amazing.
It's called tallow.
Science is amazing, but also
it's
horrible.
You know what? Where
'cause
else they get
chemistry's
that
too hard.
from?
Yeah.
Roadkill. When you rend it down, it's still the same stuff.
See, and that's the thing, Elwin. Like, these people, if everyone just went about doing regular business, like, this is what we need for like this amount of time, they would be fine. It's one thing to buy an extra couple sleeves of toilet paper when it's like a half off sale. That makes sense to hoard, because you're hoarding money when you do that. It like that, the intentions is to hoard money down the line so that you don't have to go out again and pay like twice the amount. I get that. That's not what's happening. And to be honest, like, this is kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, I kind of understand why some people want to jack up the prices on certain things when people are being jackasses like that. Like, and I think some stores should do it. Like, if you're buying more than 2 sleeves, you have to pay double the amount.
Yeah, just have a multiplier. Every time you buy more, it adds 20%.
Because like, some of these people need to be reminded that like, we are all rational, normal people. Behave like one. You're an adult in public. Behave like one.
Yes.
We don't need a Black Friday every day for months.
Ow.
And that's
Sorry
really,
for the noise.
That's how you end up with people ending up needing to have a bread line. This is the weirdest form of queuing I've ever seen in my life, and that's how I've seen it lately. It's like the toilet paper was a different kind of queue. It's like, have these people been brainwashed? Like, what are you watching?
I just find
Monkey
it
in the
funny.
morning.
Probably not Monkey in the Morning. I think that's the problem. More of these people need to watch Monkey in the Morning, because they've been like, this is like a weird, like this is something that's been triggered. I'm like, are people saying like toilet paper TP and then you just need to go out and buy like 10 rolls?
On the plus side,
didn't,
with all the people staying home, they might get more viewers.
Yes, they will.
I'm not saying that because I stream too.
I try to stream whenever I can.
I'm thinking if I could get 10 times my current donations, I could actually do this for a living.
I just don't have the time to, usually.
I have the time. I just don't have the.
Now, the thing that's really pissing me off about this coronavirus thing, and I know that everyone here can appreciate it too, is the fact that the entire time that they're flooding the news with the coronavirus, I, for once, not 1 second, trust that my government isn't doing other shit. I don't trust that the other governments aren't doing a bunch of shit too, because while everybody's in this mind of panic, that's when they start pushing things.
Yeah.
And they're not, and I'm not seeing any news anywhere that isn't like, oh, we're just a bunch of jackasses acting like retards. I don't care about these people. I don't care about them. Yes, they're stupid. I want to know about what's actually going on in the world. I want to know what's legit going on, because right now we're in a forced recession. Our economies are going to be screwed. People are going to lose jobs. If they haven't already lost their jobs so far, they're on hold. So you're not going to get paid for the next couple months. If you're not going into work, these companies aren't obliged to pay you. You know, and they're probably on hold too, because they're losing money. So if they have to cut their losses with you to save their business, they're going to cut their losses with you. This is stuff that they're not really talking about, and people aren't taking it seriously. Oh, you care more about money than you do about lives. When you take money out of people's hands, you are putting their lives at risk. And it's incredibly dangerous. And I do see these type of things as the time to keep your mind open for opportunities, but we can't find opportunities because we don't have any news.
Well, to your point, the United States House tried to do just that, sneak something into the virus relief bill.
Yeah, I saw that. You know, like, this is what I mean. Like, people are aware of what they're trying to do, and it's so stupid. And it's my government that I'm so mad at. Like, I really, you know what? I think people should start picketing. I really do. I think the regular normies need to start picketing, and it's just how do you get people to do it and legally. I'm not saying block roadways or something stupid like that. Like, people need to start speaking out and be like, listen, we are not stupid. Stop it.
Apparently, we can only do it 9 people at a time.
I feel like I'm ranting at people who've now fled my stream.
So
yeah,
I'm
people
with
stop
Elowen.
leaving.
I'm with Elowen. I'm not a hoarder. I just buy like a few extra things when it's on sale.
And that stuff makes sense. Like, I have no problems with people doing that. Like, that anybody with a brain who's on a budget knows that, like, if I can get a deal that's going to last me a couple months, I will spend a little bit of extra money here because it's going to send me money. It's going to save me money down the road. I have no problems with that. That's, you know, that at that point, it's the job of the business owner to make sure that they have enough supply, and that is actually their thing. If they don't have enough, then they didn't predict the outcome of their sale. This is different. This isn't a sale. This is people being stupid.
Actually, am I any different?
Don't know.
Sorry, just thinking out loud. Yeah, I think I did mean for this to be on stream too. It's just because I was thinking about it 30 seconds ago, and I kind of did hoard stuff too, but it wasn't really necessities. It was just holiday chocolates.
Well, those aren't necessities.
That's a different kind of necessity. And to be honest, I would have done the same. If I'd had money, a little bit of extra money last month to hoard up on Valentine's Day chocolates. I'm hoping to have a little bit for Easter, because I will do that for Easter. I will hoard, you know, because those chocolate bunnies that are completely useless are great to reuse. Just saying. But, like, I do that. Like, I would do the same, you know, because
well, the other thing is they weren't for myself, so a counter argument against my own claim. They're not for myself. I actually gave them to different female friends.
Well, that's nice of you.
Did it
I
work?
wish people would do the same thing with these necessities, since we're in the coronavirus panic.
Yeah, I hope people start to smarten up and like, you know, folks, if you were that crazy that you bought like 6 sleeves of toilet paper and you know that your neighbors down the road are suffering, give them a couple rolls, you know? Don't be
Yes.
a dick. Give them a couple rolls, because, like, that's just levels that we don't need to go to. You know, we are good people. Like, you know, it's one of those things that people have been shitting on the Western society for the longest time. And the thing I know about the US is, like, in times of need, yes, there are people that exploit, but there are just as many people who help each other out in the US, I see tons of people, ordinary, everyday people, who stop and help out their neighbor. You know, I've seen people bring them into their houses to feed them and give them clothing until they got their themselves back on their feet. You guys donate to your neighbors all the time whenever you can. You know, whether it be food or clothing, sometimes it's money, but like, you take care of your own just as much as anybody else does. And our you know, Canada's the same way. Like, I know people who've gone out of their way to help clean people's basements out after floods, you know, retrieve people's items, try to save people's homes, you know, in times of fires. You know, we are a strong group of people because we've had this mentality of like, we're kind of on our own, and we have been for a long time, and we help each other out because of that. Like,
Well, here in Wisconsin,
Mhm.
something I noticed when I first moved up here, there's an unwritten rule that everyone sort of engages in, at least outside of the major cities. If someone's stuck in the snow, you stop and help them.
Mhm.
And I had that happen so many times when I first moved up here. It was both discouraging because my car was such crap for the snow, and I was amazed by the fact that so many people just dropped everything and helped you out.
Yeah.
And to the point where now, if it's winter, I have stuff in my car to help dig someone out. It's just what we do now.
It's just people have to calm down and remember, like, we are good people. We are not bad people. And I know the media has betrayed us as being like villainous, horrible people for the longest time. And that is just not true. On an individual basis, yes, we have arguments with other people. As human beings, that's in our nature too. But it's also in our nature to like help each other out, because we all know what it's like to be in a shitty situation. It happens to everybody, good and bad, rich or poor. We all live on the same planet together. So, like, in times like this, just calm down, look at things rationally, look at what you can do, what you can't do, you know, plan for the things that you can't do, and help each other out. And it'll be fine, because we are going to be fine.
I hope so. Is she echoing for you too, Random?
You know? Do you
Oh.
have the stream up in a different window?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, my stream keeps fluttering. Like, I think I have 4 people watching me. I don't know.
Well, I'm watching you.
3, 4.
And half of them are on the stream.
Yeah.
So Elowen says the next step is people breaking into. Actually,
McDonald's.
yeah. Do you agree that not even just there, but other fast food chains? Do you think people will eventually stoop to that level?
Oh yeah.
If they're desperate, yes.
Yeah. And I mean, those rolls are worth like about 4 or 5 rolls to themselves. So one of those rolls is probably, you're good for at least a month. Just
Yeah,
saying.
I would hope that they temper their greed a little bit and just go for a handful, at a time. Be nice. Go there and buy their food, then grab a bunch of toilet paper so that you're at least contributing a little bit to it. But I used to, when I was
But you know what? On the other hand, I could also see the fast food joints closing their doors to the open public and just going with the, like, through the door or through the window.
Yeah, someplace. Yeah.
Sorry.
To which I say, sod that. I like sitting down to eat.
Sorry, that was just like, yeah, I could see them doing that.
So Elowen said that's not hoarding cheap chocolates. Go for it. Yeah, they're not even for myself. Like I said, I just wish I could give them to the quote unquote online community I know now. Like Jen, like Elowen, like SDA, like Poppy.
Sorry, I missed that. I was like, wait, what?
Sorry. I don't know. Both of you were quiet, and
He's
I
trying
thought,
to
do I
butter
need to
you
drop
up.
out of the stream again?
He's trying to butter you up with chocolate.
Ah. Oh, thanks, but
Uh,
no thanks. I'm good. I'm still on a mega diet. I'm still thinking about what I have to do for dinner tonight too, because I have a whole bunch of potatoes I got to figure out how to use. And there's lots of things I could use it with, but I don't know.
Hey,
Chips.
Elwin,
chips.
Jen is the one who bought all the potatoes.
Yes, I bought a big bag of potatoes because I was like, well, that'll last us for a while, and I got a big thing of ground beef, and I'm like, well,
You got meat and potatoes.
meat and potatoes. So I'm like, okay, well, I can figure something out there. It's just, what do I want to do and how much I want to do.
Which schematics have you read so far?
How to bake a potato.
Here's what kind of irritates me about this whole situation. Prior to now, people used to complain or used to use preppers as a pejorative.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the ones in the stores right now.
Nope. They're fine. They're just laughing at everybody else. Although I would not say no to a place that owns a bunker hole. You know, I would totally, if I had the money to renovate and fix up a bunker hole, because they're cool anyway. And just make it a Gen cave.
Jen Cave.
Mm-hmm.
To the Gen Cave.
Yep.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Right? And I would install a pole so I could just slide down into it.
That could go wrong in so many ways.
I know, right?
And I'm just talking about the mental image I just had right now.
So what's the most surprising thing you didn't see sold out at the stores?
I didn't actually look. Because the last time I went into the store, I was getting two things specifically. So
the baking aisle was surprisingly full. And I realized that this was the sign that a lot of people just really don't know how to cook, because that's actually if it was legit zombie apocalypse land, that's the stuff I would be going for, because you could make anything with that stuff. On a basic fire even. And it keeps.
Yeah, this is why I probably wouldn't survive an actual apocalypse.
Like, I'm just saying flour keeps. Flour and oil and water. And you can make stuff. It's not good, but you can make stuff.
So I see a lot of Twinkies, ding dongs, and donuts.
Twinkies don't really last as long as people think they do.
No.
They don't?
You do know that?
Yeah, I know.
They have an expiration date. I don't know why people think they last forever.
Well, they've got
I didn't
cream
even know
in
if
them,
they did or not.
Yeah, they actually go fairly fast.
Yeah, it's I think less than a month. 28 days.
But
yeah, don't get your dietary concerns from Wally.
I'm trying to think of what was the most surprising item I haven't seen sold out. I don't know why, but the chocolates, for some reason, surprised me. Just because it's food, I guess.
Well, I'm actually surprised too, because chocolate does kind of keep. Like, it doesn't keep forever, but it does kind of keep. And I know it's not healthy food, but it is fat and sugar. You know, like if you were starving and you needed like at least the energy to keep you going a little bit, like a little piece of chocolate is still going to get you there. I mean, I wouldn't just eat chocolate. I would eat little bits just to, like I said, give you that little bit to get you going. But yeah, chocolate is something I would keep, and it's tradable. For that reason.
Oh yes, shampoo. I walked into a few different grocery stores. Even drugstores still have a lot of shampoo. I'm surprised they do. And I did not mean for that to rhyme.
Okay, I don't know. I don't worry too much about shampoo.
I do see a lot of snacks still, like the chips and the candy.
See now for shampoo, that's an interesting one because and I know this is a girly thing to say, but you're gonna see a lot of the women either going for the conditioner or the 2-in-1s. Because the thing with shampoo is you can technically use it as a cheap body wash if you have nothing else. You can use it to, it's just not a strong soap. Because it's meant to clean the oils off your hair and dirt, but you don't want to necessarily deep clean your hair. Like, especially when you realize that most people overwash as it is. We more often than not strip off a lot of the natural oils that we actually need to have on our body that help us prevent us from getting sick.
There's such a thing as overwashing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It dries you out. It dries you out. So like, you know, the moisturizer that your skin should have its own moisturizer. Like it should actually stay moist just by drinking water. You should be keeping moist. Most of the time, if you're going above
I like
that,
how you said that as I drank water.
mm-hmm. If you're going above that, like say you're like somewhere in a desert or like
Sorry.
where I am, it's low humidity. Yeah, it's really dry. So yes, you do drink extra water, and yes, you do use some moisturizer. But like if you're coming from like I don't know, California is mixed. Like I think they've got mixed temperatures. But like say you're in Florida, which I think is the most humid place I could think of in the U.S. I don't doubt Texas is far off.
For California, anything along the coast is green. Everything away from the coast is desert.
Yeah, so like I don't know if they
hyperbole, but you know.
I imagine they have both. I imagine they have both high and low. But like you know what I'm saying? Like if you wash more than once a week your hair, it's actually supposed to be like every 5 days you're supposed to wash your hair or something like that.
I thought it was every other day. I mean, I know, or yeah, I did hear that, but I still, despite that, wash it every day.
Yeah. It drives me nuts because my hair, I don't like the idea that my hair feels oily, but it's actually stuff that my hair is actually needing that oil. So it's like you have to train your hair over a certain period. Now, that doesn't mean you don't wash yourself. Like you should wash yourself. It's just your hair doesn't need it because your hair doesn't need it.
Well, what if I go to the gym every day?
Well,
you should brush it out.
But you can't see him that often.
You should be able to brush it out.
This is gonna bother me.
I do know that there's also like dry shampoos. Like maybe a dry shampoo would help with that or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I've been taught and told. And it doesn't mean that I necessarily go that long. I probably manage like every 3 days. I'm just like, no, I have to wash my hair because it drives me nuts. But like I've seen it's mostly just because I'm not working either. Like, you know,
Could
I don't
at least rinse it.
No.
No.
What are you asking me for?
You're supposed to train it out, is what you're supposed to do. So like you've pretty much trained your hair up to this point. If you wash your hair every day, then like you've trained your hair. You would have to train yourself out. So it just means like stretch out a day. And comb it out. Like you're supposed to comb it out. I don't know. Like I don't know how they go about doing it. It's just their hair looks fine after. Like I've seen people who've managed to do it and their hair looks fine. I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna have to look for dry shampoos. I'll just make things easier and cut my hair shorter. I'm so glad I'm a guy.
Yeah. I tried
Because
doing
if I was
layers.
a girl, I'd
It
just
drives
be
me nuts.
going
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it drives me insane. It does. Like, and Ellen's like, yeah, my hair doesn't get oily, so she got lucky. I'm like, you are lucky because my hair does have a tendency to get oily. So it's just, I have to train my. And the thing is, your hair is actually more oily because it's overcompensating. You know, like it's overcompensating for the fact that you keep stripping it off. You know, It's just like it's not an easy task. But yeah, I like I said, that this is the thing. A lot of women, I'm pretty sure, are hoarding conditioner too, because like it's not as important, but it is. Like it isn't as it just keeps your hair from falling out. In the long term, it's meant to keep your hair full of hair later on in life. That's why most women use a little bit of hair conditioner, because it makes it softer, so it's easier to brush. You're not gonna be pulling out unnecessary hairs.
So you're saying they're making sure that they have it as a form of habit. They've been conditioned.
Yep, it's a brainwashing in the hair condition. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that you hair condition.
Brainwash. That's where they cut open the scalp, take out that brain, put it under water.
Sure.
Hey, I will give $5 to anyone who gets that reference.
Wait, what?
I was quoting something.
No, I didn't get to hear.
Brainwashing, that's where you take the brain out and put it under water, right?
Oh.
Oh boy. Hey, all you need, shave your head, problem solved. Yeah. I don't want to do that though, because I live in a cold area, you know, that the hair on the head does help retain heat, especially with the toque. They go hand in hand. And I don't have a face beard because I'm not a man, so I need something.
They are
useful. If I shave my head, I'll be a lot uglier than I already am.
Well, if it'll make you feel any better, we can't see you either way. So,
well, not at the moment.
But like I said, we don't really need to hoard everything. Like the thing between our border and your border, like that's the one thing that's staying open, is we're still keeping our business flowing. So like our truck drivers are still going across the border. We're still fine. They're still getting checks, you know. So at least our business is fine. But like when you look like universally, a lot of places are going to really be hurting. And I mean, we're going to hurt from that alone. You know, if we're not getting shipments in from everywhere else, and we're just getting it from just like the US and Canada, but it's still better than nothing. So I'm grateful for the fact that I am a neighbor.
Well, I did want to stop purchasing stuff from Amazon just because I did hear something about they can't remember if it was one of the employers who said they caught coronavirus.
Well, I just try to avoid Amazon out of principle.
Well, I was disappointed because now I can't buy SDA's books.
She doesn't have a PDF version?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just I like having physical copies. But yeah, I did think about I might have to switch to PDF.
I mean, it's not going to be forever.
Right.
It's not going to be forever. I mean, it might mean that you wait a couple months.
Just the next 2 months, yeah.
It's just silly.
I'll buy the next book on her birthday.
It's just absolutely. A lot of our mall workers want to shut down the malls too, and I'm like, that one I kind of understand, and I kind of agree, because that's recycled air. Like that one I kind of get. I'm like, I mean, they're not on like they most. Well, it depends on where you live. The malls where I'm where I am are really clean. Like they do a pretty good job of cleaning them, but it's still recycled air. One sick person walking through the mall, and you know everybody's probably going to have like half their staff with it within the week. It's just. Elwood says the virus would not survive shipping. Like, you know, some things take a couple weeks to ship, but like it also depends on where you're from. You know, like if you're shipping something from the US, that could be anywhere from like a couple days to maybe a week. depending on where it's from and how much you're willing to pay for it. If you're shipping overseas, that could be anywhere from like a couple months, usually a month to a couple months. And yet again, that depends on how much you're willing to spend. Because you could change that number if you spend more money on it. I just refuse.
I like how
Mhm.
I like how Ellen's the only one who has a wrench.
Yeah, well, I usually have a few more people watching, but like this was kind of a random stream. Like I was gonna do something with.
Of course, I'm here.
I was
Yeah, you
gonna
are
say,
here. I'm glad you guys are here because like I wasn't sure what it was I was gonna do, but I just wanted to talk the shit and I wanted to make fun of Trudeau a little bit because like I said, he's a clown. He deserves. If you are a clown, you deserve to be made fun of. And I consider him a clown, and I think he's a dangerous clown, but he's a clown. And I
he's
stand
not a
by
clown. Clowns wear white makeup. He wore black.
Well, I can't say for what he thinks of clowns then, okay? But I stand by what I've said before, and I'm going to have to see if I can find some old newspapers from my parents, and I'm going to start cutting them in the shape of, like, toilet paper sheets, and I'm going to glue them together, and I'm going to make a roll of special toilet paper. And then I will eBay that shit. It'll be a work of art. I guarantee you someone will buy
clown
it.
art.
Clown art. I guarantee you someone will buy it.
Eh.
Maybe not for a lot of money, but I guarantee you someone will buy it.
I do wish his wife a speedy recovery.
That would be amazing. You know what I should do? I should go onto that Wexit Discord and tell everybody about this idea of mine, but instead everybody makes their own role, and then we start a worldwide Canadian revolution where we just leave rolls of like toilet paper with Trudeau's face on it outside our Parliament building, and
A
we'll just stack it up.
worldwide Canadian revolution.
Yes, we will get everyone to do it. You guys can pitch in. You can send us pictures of.
Well, I never said where I'm from.
I kind of gave it away.
But like you can
I
see,
don't see how.
where this would be glorious. Like you guys send us just pictures, and we'll like I said, we'll glue this shit together, and then we'll just have like sleeves of Trudeau toilet paper everywhere, based off of how we feel about our government and how it's handling things and the level of shit that we're feeling for them. And it'll fit in because, like I said, this is as communist as toilet paper should be. Is like, oh well, we've run out of toilet paper, so let's use the newspapers. Like, what else do you have other
Dang,
than
I
leaves?
just touched my face.
And
I
then
have
when we advance it, we'll just glue the pictures onto leaves. Yes, Elwyn, you guys are gonna start hitting spring before we do. When you start getting those maple leaves, you need to start pasting pictures of Trudeau's face onto those, and then sell them on street corners for $2 and tell the people that like this is TP for future for future outbreaks.
You should do that. One for Sanders too.
He'll be irrelevant soon.
Yeah, I
It
think
will
so.
be a boring election though.
Yeah.
Assuming anyone survives to to the actual election.
I don't know. For me, after I heard that Elizabeth Warren dropped out, I just thought this is going to be a very boring election.
Why did you consider it exciting when she was in?
Because if she was the nominee, it would have just been.
Were you
I don't
hoping
know.
for
It's just I
Pocahontas
feel like
too?
because everyone expected Joe to be the nominee, and it pretty much looks like he will be at this point. I guess that's what makes it boring.
Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why they went with Joe anyways.
Because he's a puppet and he's easy to control because he's senile and he doesn't know where he is most of the time or what his name is or who he's talking to or.
They seem to be having troubles controlling him because he's not following directions.
So what I did realize earlier today is that if he is a nominee, this is going to be the worst birthday, Joe Biden birthday ever.
Joe
His
Biden.
birthday is like a little under 2 weeks after the election.
Aw, I almost feel
Aw.
sad for him.
Speaking of sad, Hillary's was 2 weeks before the election.
Yeah, I think Trump would have ate her alive, is basically what would have happened.
I don't understand why people think she's a good candidate. I never really paid much attention to her until I'm trying to think of the channel. Run Don't Walk did a retrospective on her campaign, and listening to her talk, I'm just, what made people think she was interesting? I mean,
'Cause she had a
she's a terrible
Clinton?
speaker.
pussy.
She can only say things that she's remembered. There's plenty of times where they put together things she has said, and it's all the same thing verbatim.
Yeah,
To the
'cause
point where there
she's
was
a
one clip
woman.
where they lined up her talking to two different reporters, and it was, she kept hitting the same words.
She's got a vagina. That's why they went with
Yeah, but it's
her.
old and used, so who cares?
I know. It is old news.
Older than her?
Well, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
The fact is that she failed through because the thing is she did that DNA test and then she released the results and that's all.
Oh, you're talking about Warren.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Clinton still.
Are they?
No, I wasn't. No. Yeah, I don't think about Clinton.
Because you don't want to get sad.
The meme lately is
She's
that
irrelevant.
that Joe Biden's gonna run his what is it? His vice president is the first female vice president or something, and they're like Hillary Clinton. I'm like,
we'll ignore the two previous people who did that and failed miserably. And it's not even party centric. The Democrats tried it, the Republicans tried it. Doesn't seem to work too well for them.
Nope, it sure doesn't. It's because they're the party of loonies at this point.
No, it's because nobody really cares about the vice president.
Yang pulled identity politics?
No, never. Not Yang.
I actually didn't know about that. I know that Sanders does it all the time. He's probably the one who did it the most.
No, toward the end, he was claiming that they were screwing him over. And that wasn't really true. At least no more than any of the other lesser tier candidates.
Yeah, that's the problem with their party. Like they really need to step back and look at themselves because they're running themselves into the ground with this race card and identity politics and the fact that they can't answer questions. Like when it comes to they have these grand ideas of how they want to spend your money, but then they can't explain to you how
Sanders.
Exactly. And to be quite frank, you guys are lucky it's not going to be Sanders. I mean, I wouldn't want Joe Biden either, but like in terms of people who are pushovers, like, say you guys have the crazy groups who don't want shit like you're, it's not like we don't have our Greenpeace crazies up here. I mean, you guys wouldn't stand for it, but it doesn't change the fact that he would be a pushover for it. Antifa would run wild under Bernie.
Well, they would also run wild if he did lose, if he was a nominee.
Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that they're planning something.
So the moral of the story is they're just going to run wild.
Probably.
They'd also, actually, they're going to run wild no matter what, because eventually he's going to have to drop out.
Mm-hmm.
Probably after next week. Or not next, is it this Tuesday? The next major election.
Actually, I didn't think he'd drop out for like another 2 months or 4. I thought he would have stayed in the race until July. The nominee is going to be announced on the week of my birthday.
Yeah,
or at
tomorrow
least that's what it said on Wikipedia.
tomorrow is another batch of really big states, including Illinois, and if he doesn't do well, he's gonna, he's not gonna have a chance, and he's not polling it at all well in any of those states.
That's assuming he even tries. I find with half
We
of
already
these Dems, like they give up before they even try. It's like,
we know he's gonna lose Florida.
Yes, Florida tomorrow.
But is it really all because of the Castro comments?
No, not all. Well, I mean, it's a borderline state to begin with, and then when you piss off a large demographic, you're not. Yeah,
You know
Florida's
what I
tomorrow
really
too. So
you know what really upset me about him in the debates yesterday?
you watched it.
you're not
He
wrong,
called-
Elwin. You're not wrong. Like
Yeah, she's not wrong.
He's not in good health, and I mean, I think his mental state is failing him too. It's not as showable
You
as
mean
with
Vermont?
Sanders.
Sanders. Like the thing is like with Biden, it's more noticeable, but with Bernie, I still think he's not that much further off than he is. It's just he's still articulate, but like he can't answer half the questions he's at. Like I think he's losing it too.
I don't think he's losing it. I think he just doesn't have answers and is doing the politician thing.
You know,
I don't want to
actually
answer the question, so
I eventually did see that claiming that Sanders should drop out because of the heart attack is ableist. And they said questioning his health is ableist because FDR though.
didn't. Okay, because if I'm not mistaken, FDR was.
I don't even know much about
Ill-
him, just that he was
thought
the
he took
president
ill
throughout the
while
Second World
he
War,
was.
and he was overrated. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm trying to think of when he took ill, because I thought he was in office when he was. Oh no, I'm wrong. Okay.
But also, I've seen a lot of Sanders supporters on Twitter praising him like he's going to be the next FDR. And I'm thinking, when did you guys start liking FDR? I didn't see this in 2016. Or maybe it's
The
just because I
Democrats?
now have. Huh?
You mean the Democrats?
No, specifically Sanders supporters.
Oh.
He might be. Maybe he's trying to be a martyr, Elwin. Like I don't know with him, like, because he's. It's hard to see if he's really a fanatic about it, or if he's just really stubborn, But like, if he were to die trying to pursue this thing, like he might be trying to pose as like a martyr for his group, But honestly, I don't know. Because if he did die, I don't know how much of his group would just be like, have the wind blown out of their sails.
Well, you know that if he were to die soon, his supporters would be congratulating his life and legacy and demanding documentaries to be released within the next year.
Mm-hmm. And then they'd probably twist the story.
Yes, and exclude stuff like the communist Cuba praise and other. There's so many things about him that I forgot about until I was reminded. So whenever it's said that the media hates Sanders, they do to an extent. They don't bring up anything that was already in the public. They just don't bring it up again.
Well, they do. They do that all the time. Like they did that with Hillary Clinton. When she was running, like it was always amazing because everyone was like, "Are you crazy? We still know what she did. It wasn't that long ago. We know what she did," and they played it off like they didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh, sorry. You continue.
Well, no, it's like it goes all the way back to when she was in the White House with as the first lady. Like the shit she was doing as first lady, like trying to steal shit out of the White House. Like we all
Right.
knew about this stuff, but like they acted like it didn't exist or it never happened.
Well, that's why I said I didn't understand why people were surprised by the results of the 2016 election, because people seem to have forgotten what a horrible person Hillary Clinton was.
Mhm.
And then in the lead up to the election, people were reminded what a horrible person she was. I mean,
I thought she was invincible.
her only skill set is weaseling her way into position of power. She doesn't do anything good when she has it. She didn't do anything good as Secretary of State. She didn't do anything good when she was the president's wife. Look at the crap that she tried to pull there. What did she do as senator? And then look at how she got to be senator, because she moved to a state she's never been to and said, for the sole purpose of running for that election, because that was the next safe senator seat that was up. So I don't understand, how people can have such short memory.
It's not that they have short memory; it's that they have a choice of short memory. Because I was just saying earlier, I was gonna say that with Trump, they constantly mention that tape from 2005 that he already apologized for in the debate. Yet when Sanders said women fantasize about being raped, they push that anything negative, remotely negative about Sanders, they try to weasel their way out of it to make it sound like a positive thing. Like Sanders didn't defend Cuba, it was just the literacy program. Sanders, the Latino community dumping toxic waste, that was taken out of context. You can't win with these people. That's why, in terms of supporters,
Mhm.
maybe it's because I've seen them, or I have seen a lot of them as opposed to other people, but it's just the ones that I've come across use the most absurd mental gymnastics they can.
Well, I hate to when people say you can't get through to these people, because there's plenty of examples of people finally realizing, okay, that's messed up. So you got to keep trying, because
You
otherwise,
do. And then the other thing too is I think that it's also the way that they've closed themselves off in this circle, because when you're in a cult like they're in a cult, you are constantly in a state of mantra. Right? So you're going to repeat the same slogans over and over and over again. You're repeating it to yourself, you're repeating it to your friends, you're repeating it to your coworkers, you're repeating it to your boss, you're repeating it online. You're repeating it over and over and over again until this is the absolute truth. There's no other truth. So when they're talking to you, you are defying their truth. Right? So and that's what you have to fight. And that is the hardest thing to fight, because people in that mindset, they live for it.
Yes, Elwin, he wrote that back in the 70s. Which, speaking of which, that's an example, is that Elwin didn't know that. I'm not even going to use being Canadian as an excuse, because there are a lot of Canadian Sanders supporters as well as all
Oh
over
yeah.
the world.
We
Just like
had a
how
bunch
they're,
that crossed the border. And I guess they pretended to be a bunch of Bernie Sanders supporters, and we were like, "How is that not election fraud?"
right. But the other thing is, yesterday in the chat, Renovatio said something that I completely forgot about. Is that he mentioned that Sanders once said, "White people don't know what it's like to be poor," which is something that I attacked him.
That was the
Yeah,
last election even, and they
yeah.
forgot that.
Yeah, I forgot it because that was something that I kept criticizing him on and then just slipped away from my memory. And then before the whole communist 60 Minutes interview, 1 week or 2 weeks before, I said I forgot Sanders supported Castro.
It blows my mind. And the thing is he was in Russia during that time period. You know, he was there for his wedding. Like that's where he celebrated it, his honeymoon. And that was during the Cold War. And I'm like, you're in probably the richest place in Russia. If he had gone out of the city, he would have seen suffering everywhere.
Yes, it's like
I've
those
seen
people
people
when
standing in line waiting for toilet paper. That never happens in America.
Shio!
Oh, do we have a Shio?
We
Oh,
have a
crap.
Shio.
yeah, do we have a Shio? I don't see him on my end, not yet at least.
But like,
But still,
like,
Hi,
Right.
Shio.
and
oh
this,
yeah, so he only went to the good part or the rich part on purpose too, because when you said that, it immediately reminded me of when Donald Trump said blank whole countries, and people were posting, "Oh no, these countries are actually beautiful," but then they took like out of context images, obviously.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, don't take a
yeah,
close look at Cuba, because it may look like a photo from the 50s, but that's only because those are the that's when the last time they could afford vehicles.
they're probably colorized too.
No, I mean I'm saying that they have a lot of really old stuff there, so even though it might look like it's an old picture, it's probably recent.
Yep, it's my end.
and one down. But by the way, how long are you going?
I'll probably end here pretty soon. There,
Okay.
checks back.
Just in time for Shio to show up.
Yes.
There's no correlation there, Shio. Totally no correlation.
Well, no, I
Oh, I thought
don't.
you meant-
I don't want to go past the 2 hours, and I started at like 1:45. So like we've got a. Oh, did he drop?
He muted
Nope.
himself.
Okay. Yeah, like we've got a few minutes, and I mean, if we went a little bit past that, I'm not gonna cry about it because I haven't streamed in a while. But yeah, I don't want to go too much past the 2 hour mark. So,
Right.
But like it's a fascinating conversation because that's where we are in the world. And honestly, if you go to Australia, it's their version of the same thing. If you go to the UK, it's their version of the same thing. And I can't help cheering, England on, like Brexit all the way. Because everyone's lost their minds. I think
England
everyone needs
sucks,
to.
England sucks. Brexit all the way.
What the hell?
Sorry, just
Yeah, that's just been my perspective of the world.
perspective.
I can't speak. Blech.
I've heard from people who visit Cuba who say that it's only good as long as you stay in a resort. You leave the resort, and good luck, you'll need it. I remember. Why do I keep saying I remember? So after the 60 Minutes interview, sorry, going back to that again, the only other person who I've seen as upset, actually, she was more upset than I was, or at least that's what it seemed like, was Maddie.
Yeah, she was pissed because I think she does remember it. Like she has, memories from her parents. Stories from her parents, and there's a lot of people who've come from there who have stories about what it was like and how they had to cross over, and like they were crossing over on garbage because that's all they could find to escape this shit, and it was no joke. It's no joke to them. It's like cryptic. He comes in all the time and tells us stories of what he remembers when he was fleeing Vietnam.
Oh, it was Vietnam? I didn't know. I just know that he was from Asia.
Yeah.
They all look the same.
He came in after the communists set in there, like, they were starving to death and, fleeing from there, and he remembers what it was like to starve. And then you've got these punks who are like, oh, well, that wasn't real communism. And like, that's the worst thing that you can possibly say to somebody,
Yeah.
Could you imagine if a Nazi came up to you and said, oh, well, that just wasn't real socialism. That wasn't implemented properly. Could you imagine? They would lose their minds.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. Oh, it just wasn't implemented properly. It's it's nice on paper. It sounds nice on paper, but unfortunately it's not doable. What is doable is looking at what it is that we do have and then finding out what works and having some socialist programs, not socialism, socialist programs, socialized programs that people need. That's something that people as communities discuss with themselves,
Yeah. I wish Cryptic was on stream now. Yeah.
She stole all the toilet paper. Oh my.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that nothing about the toilet paper, by the way? Yesterday, Sanders called Trump the most dangerous president in. I can't remember the exact quote. I just know that he called him the most dangerous president in modern history they had. And I mean, you literally praised a dictator, a fascist dictator. But it doesn't matter to his supporters.
I hate to break it to him, but between the U.S. and Russia,
Cuba.
over the last 20 years, every president has been the most dangerous president because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who was the president. You guys have always, for the longest time, you guys have had the biggest army, the biggest weapons, the biggest economy. So Bernie, your quote means absolutely nothing.
I love your laugh. Sorry, I don't stream with you at all, actually. I want to say that there was only one time I streamed with you outside of Jack Gunstee's Jackbox streams, but I really do love your laugh.
It's just, I'm sorry, it's just between Russia and you guys, in terms of the world scale, maybe China.
Go sit in the corner.
Maybe China can be a contender. I mean, at least I don't know anymore. It's not like you guys don't have enemies that don't have bad weapons and things like that. But in terms of like the world's view, between you guys and Russia, like you pretty much can blow everybody else up and away if you wanted to.
Yeah, but we're not going to.
Exactly.
That's the thing. There's a short period in history where nuclear weapons were tactically advantage.
I know they're old news now, but
the only
like,
thing anyone has to worry about is if you have crazy people get a hold of them. The kind of people that think that killing others helps them in the afterlife.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like Bernie Sanders' message absolutely means nothing because Hillary Clinton would just as much be actually she would be a hell of a lot more dangerous if she was president.
The U.S. would be at war with Russia.
Yes. And China, because China would join Russia.
Yes.
There would be no question there. They would just do it. They'd be like, well, yeah, time to fuck over the U.S.
Sanders also said Trump is racist, sexist, and homophobic. What did Fidel Castro do to LGBT?
Well, I'm going to stop myself before I make that joke.
Type it in chat. Hashtag rigged for Jack's pleasure. Yeah. I forgot that was. Oh yeah. So what I also like to bring up is that the 60 Minutes interview happened on the same night as when Ariel Scarsella was canceled because she said she no longer wants to call herself a progressive or something like that. And I was thinking of posting a tweet of her and Fidel Castro side by side with the caption, you'll never guess who was deemed problematic on woke Twitter. Kind of like how the Covington Catholic Nick Sandman was.
Yeah, but that makes you sound like you're pro against her or something, and I don't think she's done anything really wrong. All she's done is she's just made her opinions known. Like she's not she's not a transphobe.
That's what that was my purpose, is that
Okay.
she was, like I said, she was canceled on the same
Mhm.
night as the 60 Minutes interview, and the morning after, there were so many Sanders supporters defending Sanders's defense of
Mm.
Cuba, yet we're so quick to condemn Ariel Scarcella, because if you have to leave the progressive left, you were never left.
It's like, yeah, it's the same argument as some of those crazy vegans too.
Ask yourself. Vegan gains.
Yeah, if you have to eat meat, then you were never a vegan in the first place, and that means you're just a plant-based diet. Because those people never ate meat before in their lives.
That reminds me, I need to figure out how to make a shirt.
What would the shirt say?
Mm.
I don't want to say it. I want people to see it.
Ah,
Oh, goodness.
what?
Oh, no, it was just between Shio and Elwyn. Something to do with cigars and black people's fingers.
What?
Because they're weird.
Oh,
Shio? Weird? Never. Never. This is a vicious rumor.
Yeah, all you need was like China's standing army is larger than the U.S. population. They would be a farm. Yeah, they would be. I mean, the only thing though is that
Not now.
would
They
be-
won't, because we've got a virus that we can infect them with.
It's basically everywhere in the world where I think they've thought about invading the U.S. The thing that holds them back the most is just the knowledge that most people in the U.S. coming from certain angles have a gun.
Yes.
And you guys wouldn't hesitate to shoot if you thought you saw an invading force. Like, there wouldn't even be a thought involved. You guys would just be like, "You American? Okay." I'm just saying.
Vegan gains should have been the one punch for the squash.
He probably
I
would
don't
have.
understand that reference.
Well, Elwyn was saying that there were fights over squashes at one of the grocery stores that she went to.
Yeah.
And Vegan Gains would have been the one punch for the squash. But Elwyn has it wrong. Vegan Gains would be out back in the trash trying to look for the squash that was thrown out yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm never going to let him live that down, because everything he got out of that trash bin had expired. Like, they legit had expired. Vegan stuff has a tendency to stay on the shelf for a little bit longer. Not because they don't want to pull things. It's just on the hope that somebody will buy it. And people do buy it. They just don't buy it in the quantities that these people expect them to sell. And that's why they're mad.
Hey, maybe Vegan gains should live in a communist country. I mean, I know that he's Canadian, but maybe he should go to like Cuba or China.
Well, he probably feels like this is close enough to it, because he probably, voted for that guy. So
I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Because he has done anti-SJW like YouTube videos.
well, I don't know. I think he would be on Justin's side, because he would be of the opinion of shutting down pipelines and cutting back on people eating meat. So,
Oh yeah, that's true.
like, the thing is like, even if he wanted people to go on a vegan diet, like, most of the places where his vegan food comes from, they switch fields with the people who raise cattle. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's how it works. They switch fields because it's better for the earth if you let cows live over it for a year or two, because they poop and it goes back into the earth and it's fertilizer. It's amazing. Circle of life. Sorry, I had to point that out. We should probably wrap up here pretty soon, though, because it's
Especially
almost...
as I'm having flashbacks.
Of
Cow
vegan
patties!
gains and
Oh gosh. Somebody should. Oh no, he's not that dumb. I was gonna say somebody should send him out cow tipping.
That's a waste of money.
What's a waste of money?
Giving tips to cows.
Oh, those kinds of tips.
All right. Well,
Let's-
do you guys have anything that you'd like to shill?
I probably will be streaming 7 days tonight. If not, I will be streaming something tonight.
On Satsu's channel?
What?
On Satsu's channel, or just
No,
by
on my
yourself?
DLive channel.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
Yeah, that's
almost
what
up to you're almost up to 100 on there. Good job.
Yes. Now I just need to get them to all those people to watch.
I keep meaning to. It's just if I watch that, I feel I sit there and I'm like, I wish I could play it, but I don't.
But yeah, no, I mean, it always seems that it takes me playing with other people to get a good audience going.
Hi, Rebel. We're technically shutting down here pretty soon, but I'm glad you stopped in. How about you check your logic? I know every once in a while you go onto the Minions of the Zoo. I don't know that I've seen you on there lately, but and sometimes I've seen you on Jack's stream.
yeah. Every once in a while, I go to either channel. I don't know. What's today? Monday. On Wednesday, I might ask Sanguine, but we'll just see.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, for me, it's up in the air. It's like I said, there's been a couple times the last couple weeks where I really wanted to come on and rant, and I mean, I got lucky because sometimes I join Blind Girl and Pumpkin Trunker on their channel, just because she does a lot more Canadian politics. And not everybody covers that. So like, I get that's kind of a thing, but I want to exchange that information because if shit is going stupid up here, I want you guys to know, just because I don't think you should trust our border either, just because we might be being run by a circus of clowns. And while I'm rational and my neighbors are rational, I don't really have much hopes for the guys running the show up here. So, yeah, you guys are fine. We're fine.
The offers
like-
are still on the table. We'll trade one of your
I know, right?
what are they called? Provinces for California.
Quebec. We'll just put all our liberals in Quebec, and we'll trade you for California.
Were you talking about
We don't want Quebec for California. That's not helping us any.
What a horrible deal that would be.
Instead of being insufferable, they'll be insufferable in French.
We're talking about Blind Press, or is
Yes.
Blind Girl someone else?
Blind Girl's someone else.
Oh.
Yeah, they're two separate people. They actually don't get along, so don't mention each other to each other.
Oh, sorry.
How can they have a problem? They never see each other.
I know, right? I stay out of it because it's none of my business, and I've told them both that. But it's just one of those things that I've been told to not mention them both to each other in circumstances, and I don't know. It's girl fights, guys. I don't get involved in those. I never have, and I never will, and I highly recommend that you do the same.
Oh, that's sad. I feel bad.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I just giving you the I'm giving you the best advice I can. It doesn't matter what age group of the women are either. If it's a girl fight, just stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're always stupid.
Okay.
They are always stupid. It's not like guy fights where if it is something stupid, with the worst case scenario, maybe somebody who throws a punch, and even then, I think that's actually more rare than women make it out to be. But then it's solved. You're fine. You go your own way, and it's just that's just it. Yeah, leave girl fights alone, or record them if there's mud involved. All right, guys. So I'm going to shut her down and say goodnight.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.